Hi guys, it's actually Valentine's Day. Because you know what? All
Oh,
you need is love. Anyhow, it's a beautiful day, and our extended forecast starting tomorrow, the 15th, we're under a flood watch, up to 2 inches of rain on top of what we've had. And then next week, Reg and I are going to get away. But now there's like a snow warning on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Not a warning, but they're calling 1 to 3 during the day, 1 to 3 in the evening. So we're going to be sticking around here. But these are some things I want to show you that we could be doing right now if you're having better weather than us. We had another snow this week. It was wet and heavy, and so more of this has collapsed. I just haven't decided if I'm going to take the whole thing out. Not, it still looks pretty around the edges, but that's something I have to think about. But what is happening, these are my Tahiti daffodils, and they're mid to late blooming daffs, and they are so pretty, and they have multiplied. You can see a little bud there, little buds here. They will be beautiful. I should probably plant more. I just haven't. This year I didn't plant any daffodils. Around the corner, you can see deer hooves in this muddy area right through here because they try to eat you can see hooves up here. They try and eat my creeping phlox every year, but it looks like they chew it and they spit it out. I don't know if it's the texture, the flavor, but they try every year. They dig at it. So it's not a bad thing for deer. If you have deer, they don't really like it. It's going to be beautiful, though. You can see how I just can't wait to see the spring bloom. Look how green and lush that's getting. This will just look gorgeous. And it's everywhere because I love it. But down here, this is a shady part of the yard, Reg. Be careful, it's a little icy. We've had, I think it's just 29 degrees right now. And like I said, we're expecting rain tomorrow. But the hellebores, even though they look so sad, let me get in here. Their heads are all droopy. Trust me, once it warms up, they spring back to life and they will give me lots of blooms. But I'm looking for that. And then there's some late blooming daffs in here. I always go in this area. I'm in zone, they say 6B, and this year it's acting a little colder than that. And I like for my daffodils, I've learned throughout the years that I need mid to late blooming. Otherwise, the early bloomers sometimes get hit with a frost and then they never bounce back like your hellebores will. So if you're in this kind of zone, just don't, you can, why not put a few early ones for some yellows, but but the mid to late are safer for us. Nothing happening in the winter sown buckets, but I can't expect that because we've had winter, really good winter. Let me show you what I saw this morning though. There's all kinds of buds. This is the Japanese maple seedling or small little, start from the large Japanese maple that I dug out of the rock wall last year, put it in this pot, and it's doing great.
it looks like
It looks great. And it's just, this is where it was when I put it in this pot. It stayed here all winter. It's doing great. So we'll go down in here. Watch your step. It could be icy still. Just from the morning. I was looking, the best thing I started last year is I started taking a video at least once a week, if not weekly once everything's alive, but once a week in the winter. I thought, what was our weather last February? Last February on the 12th, I was cutting back my clematis and I was in just a long sleeve shirt. It looked warm, warmer than it is today. But anyhow, I have already cut back my clematis, the ones that grow on new wood, which are your class 3s or your green. You want to cut them back to 12, 18 inches this time of year, late winter, early spring, because they grow on new wood. They bloom later, but they're beautiful and not hard to care for. So I've already gotten those done. But let's come down to the bottom of the stairs here. I want you to take a look. I need some jobs I want to do, won't be next week, hopefully the week after, is I want to get into my compost pile and get it stirred up. It looks like it needs to be stirred. It's not pretty, but you can see that I need to get in there, get things turned over. I've used most of mine out of this pile. This pile I can use early in the spring. So I'm looking forward to getting that pile with all the pieces of papers and stuff cleaned up. I want to also, in the next week or two, get this other stump out. I haven't decided what I'm going to do here. And I don't think I will for a couple more weeks. Once this is out, I feel like I can really get going and figure out something. I like the way this looks, so I may want something trellising up on that rather than a tree, because I think Reggie said he never noticed the junipers that were here, even though they were here in large. If you watch that video, once they're gone, he didn't notice them. This has sprung back a little bit, but I don't like how it looks from the backside. So, I mean, this bothers me, maybe no one else. This is an old arb. I had this one in a pot for years and then planted it in the soil. It just is ugly. That's probably going to have to go when I...
Well, the tree grew into it.
Yeah, the tree grew into it. So I need to do something with that. None of my roses. This is my iceberg climbing rose. And then I have another climbing rose over there against the fence. These won't get touched for probably the 1st of March for me. I got to wait on that. Raguchi, I got cut back, is a class 3 clematis. Beautiful. I love its drooping heads on this. And I think I've decided I'm not going to put morning glories on this fence because I want Raguchi to climb in with the rose. And last year, I love my morning glories, but I want that to be more of my clematis and my rose. Those are things you think about in February, what we're going to do the next time. You can see Mozart standing on these chairs. You know they're here because I don't know, we've taken them off the river deck because of so much rain. Our river is at bank full. They've been letting water out all week with the anticipation of the flood warning we're under. They can only hold back so much, and I don't want it going over top of the river deck because that's just about a foot or two higher than what it was the last time it was under it. So we're keeping our chairs here so that they don't float away. And my little great blue heron that Reggie did his artwork on, we don't want it floating away. And everything in this garden looks great. It's not about the plants right now. It's like, what's coming up and what are you seeing? And I do see the daffodils coming up.
I think Mr. Bowling Balls survived the...
They look great. And they're supposed to even be...
Remember they had like a 1.5 feet of snow on top of them.
Yeah, and they were heavy and they didn't really crush out. But that was when you mentioned I needed to clean those off, and I forgot to do that on that one, forgot to do it on the other round arborvitae, globe arborvitae. But these held up, and they haven't bronzed as much as I thought they would. They
you can see a little bit.
Yeah, they were supposed to get real bronzy in the winter, but so far it hasn't happened. I may have just jinxed myself. You can see the shade in this garden. You know, it's very prominent with that huge arb. It gives us more shade than sun this time of year. Come summer, you'll be able to, you get sun here, just that one corner stays shaded. But everything's looking good. I can see the daffs coming up through here. I can see footprints through there of the deer. Reg and I may have a project to do once the ground thaws to maybe help prevent so much deer pressure in the garden. We just have to wait and see if we're going to get that done this year. I can see my white daffs that are all behind my lamb's ear. They're coming up. These heuchera look a little weary, but we'll see how they do.
Well, they do look bad.
It's just from the winter weather. Truly, truly is. This winter has been great for heavy moisture and cold. And another nice bunch of daffs. I do have the early blooming daffs, and fingers crossed that they don't freeze up. They will bloom because I have some buds down here. I'm so glad we got the grasses out. We got in here and cleaned things up. But right over here, we have 3 buds standing up, and this is all full of buds. So this is one of those early, just a nice little yellow daffodil. So fingers crossed it can bloom without being, oh, I see some more daffodils. You know, you plant and divide, plant and divide. It's just always a delight to see where they're coming up. That's what I'm looking. Oh, I remember I have, yep. I see them. Anyhow, watch out. Let me take this before it gets caught in you.
This grass is very noticeable from the deck.
Yeah, I was going to cut it.
You were talking about you wanted some color in that.
Yeah, I wanted to leave something with some movement because the day I cut those grasses off, I was going to cut off this Hakana, what is it called? Golden Japanese forest grass, Hakanacloa macroaurelia. And I like the way it looks. And this is its first season, so we'll see what it looks like next season. I was hoping my little snowdrops, the little white early blooming flowers would be in bloom. We have buds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those will be so sweet. You can see there and over here. We'll get some of those tiny little snowflakes come up. Last year I dug one up, put it in a pot, and brought it upstairs. Those are things you can do with these early blooming things. Gives you a sense of you're out there in the garden enjoying yourself. I have the same white daffs over here behind the Japanese painted ferns. I can see them coming up. You know, when I'm walking through the garden in February, it's so nice to see if things are coming up, even on a 29-degree day after 6 weeks of
Snow and
rain, and cold. We had one day over 50 maybe. Tomorrow's 50 and rain. But my Zephyr and Druin rose will also get cut back. That's a beautiful climbing rose. Last year they did beautiful. Let me tell you, May and June were warm. We didn't have a killing frost. And you can see what happens, you know, when you don't have a killing frost. These early blooming flowers, my peonies were gorgeous. You know, thank goodness for photographs and videos. I know we're having a tea. I'm working with a group of people for a tea in May last year, around the 18th, and that's when the tea is. The peonies were beautiful, so that could be a pretty bouquet on the table. I'm going to tell you, I love Lamian, this ground cover. So gorgeous. It stays evergreen. It's my first winter to have that. Loving it. Oh, look at this. This is a clematis. This is Jackmanii. Beautiful clematis. I guess I forgot to cut it back. I don't have my pruners with me, or I just do that. What I'm going to do, I'll come in 12 inches and cut it back, and it will just climb up that so nicely. I've got daffodils in here. Absolutely. Everything's just doing what I hope. Yeah, I'll come in and clean up my lambs here once everything thaws, clean off the dead. And you know, you can be doing those things too. The garlic.
Oh, I don't know.
I know. This is how it looked last year, Reg, and we didn't have the best harvest.
No, we did not.
We shall see. Anyhow, guys, those are some things you can be doing. You can be checking out your garden, seeing what's coming through the ground. If you have any clematis, roses, you know, you can be cutting your clematis back now. You can be cutting back your climbing roses. Stir your compost if it's not frozen. Just anything to get you outside. Thanks for watching. Until then, plant some seeds. We'll see you. Bye.